The All Blacks are #1 in the world, so are they the best team? We want your say on the All Blacks' performance. It's your chance to drive our conversation. We celebrate some terrific try-saving tackles. And what on earth happened in Johannesburg? The Wallabies walloping the Springboks.
Tēnā koutou katoa, good evening, welcome into the breakdown. Great to have you joining us after a win for the All Blacks, and who would have thought, showing of hands, Jeff Wilson, Justin Marshall, Mills Muliaina. Honesty, cool. Who predicted the Wallabies to beat the Springboks at Ellis Park before 5 a.m. this morning?
Oh, didn't I say it last week?
You did say it last week.
Okay, you can take
100%.
that.
Thanks, Kirsty. I'll just sit back and listen to these two then, eh?
I didn't. I can openly admit that. It wasn't me.
I said one word. I said no. At the end of the show, you didn't give me any time to explain. I didn't think they would. And were they going to after 20 minutes? Highly unlikely. And then a remarkable turnaround in performance.
Yeah, pretty incredible. We're going to get stuck into that a little bit later on in the program. But tonight, this breakdown is your show. We've been asking you to send through your comments for the last few weeks. We're going to have polls that you can vote. We really want your interaction and engagement. Scan the QR code right there. You are going to drive the conversation for the next hour. So whatever you ask for, questions, comments on the All Blacks performance or anything else in international rugby right now, send them our way by scanning the QR code, and we're going to ask these guys as much as we can possibly fit into the next hour. I'm going to start off by asking something. The All Blacks on Monday will become the #1 ranked side in the world now, above South Africa, above Ireland, above France. So are we the #1 side in the world right now, Marshy, aside from World Rankings? Do you think we're the best team?
Oh, it's a loaded question. Look, obviously the statistics will show that the All Blacks are the #1 side, but like form obviously is really relevant. And you know, I think accumulative, the All Blacks have probably earned their spot to get to #1. But in saying that, you know, the likes of France, who sent a B team out here, well, they've suffered from that in the World Rankings, haven't they? So I don't think it's as accurate as it could be if all teams were on balance playing like they should be playing. But look, the All Blacks are on the right trend, put it that way.
Are they the best team? And does it matter?
I don't think it matters to them. I don't think it matters. It doesn't matter to me either. I don't think they are the best team right now. I don't think they're consistently the best team, to your point. Well, I think until we get to the end of the championship, I think whoever sort of wins that, you've still got the Six Nations of the India tour. I think you get a better understanding of where the All Blacks are. They've started. They've got on the board. I think that we're going in the right places. But South Africa, even after that loss, they'll be there.
It's always interesting, though, the World Rankings, because at this time of the year, the Northern Hemisphere doesn't play Test matches. You know, they've finished their season, so we start to go and we start accumulating points and change positions, and then we'll get to the end of year tour, and the same sort of thing will happen. So the balance for me is the fact that I don't think the All Blacks will think they're the #1 team in the world until we beat South Africa. I don't think they themselves will go, you know what, we've lost 4 in a row to them. They're clearly a formidable side. Yes, they were disappointing at Johannesburg, at Ellis Park overnight, but the All Blacks themselves will know if you want to say you're the best team in the world, you have to beat the best in the world, and they are the world champions.
Fair enough. Well, let's take a look at a poll. We've got a poll to introduce to you about the style of rugby that the All Blacks have been playing in 2025, and to be fair, under coach Scott Robertson. So here is our poll. What do you think of this All Blacks game plan? Are you excited by it? Do you think it's clinical, or is it boring rugby? We've already had some people jump on and scan the QR code, so please do that right throughout the program. Is the All Blacks game plan exciting, clinical, or boring? Marshy?
Brilliant. Keep going that way. Keep going that way.
It's a work in progress, which is not on there. So look,
That's not an option.
I've got to slot myself somewhere into
out of the three, where are you going?
Look, it's clinical.
You're going clinical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clinical. I don't think by any means it's exciting. I think it has moments of excitement within it, but I think they're just clinical in what they're doing at times, and clinical is also winning.
Clinical? Are we seeing Crusaders rugby at All Blacks level, Jeff? Where would you put the All Blacks in that category? That we're seeing change.
I think if you're a forward that used to play the game, you're saying it's exciting, because that's what the All Blacks have become. But in my belief, this is a Crusader coaching team who have gone on to the All Blacks. And I'm seeing the Crusader formula here, where they're creating a forward pack which is in a lot of games very dominant. And we saw against Argentina the last 10 minutes of the first half and then the last 10 minutes of the second half where we were able to go to a level where we put pressure on at line-out time, we used line-out drives, and our scrum was really strong. And their defence is a big part of their game. Now, they gave up some soft tries today. That's something that, but I look at the kicking game, they're playing in the right parts of the field, they're backing their defence and their set piece. Now, that works well against some of the lesser strength teams. But when you start coming up against the big guns, is that going to be enough to generate enough points?
I'm excited about what's to come. I think there's still elements in there. There's bits that you can be excited about. They're getting the ball out a little bit wider. There's a couple of tries that they scored today. Not as clinical as perhaps they need to be, but I think in terms of what you've just spoken about, Jeff, they're getting the forward pack right. You've got to remember, we've got a couple of injuries in that department too, but they're building nicely a team, and we keep going on about 4 deep, but I think that's going to start after this, establishing that 23 that we really need to get to.
So work in progress for both of you. Majority of you right there, 40% at least, are saying boring, and nearly 40% saying clinical.
We want the All Blacks to win. I think at the moment...
So it doesn't matter about the game, the way that we're playing.
They're thinking about what's the best way to win Test matches. And I think they feel right now with the personnel they have and what they're trying to develop, this is the game that they play. If you go and look at Super Rugby, for example, where New Zealand teams play each other, I don't know what you guys think, we tend to be very conservative. We tend to kick a lot. We're not prepared to play in our own half because we know each other so well. I think there's an element of that as well in All Black Rugby now where our counter-attack, we rely on moments of brilliance, and we got one from Will Jordan in this game, which created a long-range try. We've had it from Cam Roigard. I think we rely heavily on that to be the excitement of our game.
I'll read you some questions here. Kevin Mitchell is saying, why are the All Blacks still kicking aimlessly when they are in possession? And there's another one along similar lines. Beauden Barrett needs to be told off for too many pointless kicks. That's from Hayden. Thoughts?
I don't like the way we're exiting, and the reason why I don't is because I don't think we're getting out far enough. When you're kicking off the base of a maul or a ruck, and we're only getting to our 40 metre, I don't think that's long enough. I think we've got to manipulate the back three a little bit more. Yeah, I get it. We want to sort of play a little bit. And this is probably the frustrating part. There's opportunities, but I don't know if everyone's on the same page in terms of our kicking strategy, Marshy. But the one thing that sort of sticks out to me is having a line out to another team to relieve a bit of pressure, but you're still in your own half and you have to defend that.
Yeah, you do. And you're not putting any of those kicks that we've just shown. There's no pressure on the opposition. They're not having to deal with any situations of a defender bearing down on them or having to leave their feet to contest the ball. So effectively, you're going, OK, we don't want to play with the ball anymore. You have a turn and we'll kick it to you, but we'll give it to you in circumstances that you've got time. You've got vision, you can have a look. You can think about kicking it back, you can think about running. It's got no pressure element to it. A kick's got to have pressure to it for the opposition to deal with. Yeah. And those kicks are classic examples of that not happening. It's like a defeatist attitude of, oh, well, we're not in the right position to attack. We don't want to make an error. Boom. Let's see if we can make you make an error. Good teams won't.
Yeah, and I'll go back to the fact that's what the Crusaders did at Super Rugby because they had a world-class forward pack. And they had world-class defence, and they said, you play. We dare you to play. We'll turn your mistakes into point-scoring opportunities. And I think that's been a strength of the All Blacks for a long, long time. Through our greatest period, yes, we created some wonderful tries, but our defence was foolproof. Teams couldn't score tries against us. We won a World Cup 8-7. I mean, that's the sort of game that we could play. I think if you're looking for a revolution, I don't think you're going to see it. I honestly don't think we're going to expand our game too much.
Mm.
I love reading the questions. I love reading the instant feedback.
We can tell. You've got a big smile on your face. Don't come to me first.
Just get going that way first. Get going that way first.
I'll be coming to you because this is a great question. Thank you, Liam from Dunedin. Who was faster at their peak, Jeff, Mills or Will Jordan? So we'll come to the neutral here, Marshy.
How come I'm not in the mix? I was quite quick.
Unfortunately,
positive line.
When you tried to run fast and you popped your Achilles.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's true. That is the problem.
So if you're answering Liam's question, who do you think would have, at their peak, been the quickest over 100, let's say 100 metres?
Oh, that's again, because a lot of it is deception. Players have ability to be quick and change angle and change direction and step, which these guys were able to do. And Will Jordan, you saw acceleration as well. So, look, I can't put my neck out there on the line and categorically say it was one person or another.
You've got to, Marshy. Liam's asking the question.
Yeah,
It's because he's right beside me.
Let's go now. We'll go now. I've got runners on. We're good to go. All right?
Yes, no.
Please,
Your poor Hammy.
He's had a hip operation. He's had a hip operation. I've had none of those issues. Achilles hip, no problems here, baby.
That is absolutely brilliant. Another comment in here from Thomas. We scored 41 points. How was that boring? We shifted it well and it was exciting. So
Shifted it. It was 3 line-out drives. We shifted it 5 metres.
Yes, true.
But like I said, 1 to 8. If you're a 1 to 8 and you're a forward watching this, you're loving every moment of it.
Oh, what about the work from Patrick Tuipulotu when he came on in the second half? He finished the game with a massive dent in his head because he dented one of the Argentinians. Look at this. Marshy, this is a bumper moment.
Oh, it is, isn't it? Yeah. Smacked him down. Yeah, look, I think what he's adding when he comes on, you know, like you would have to say the type of form that Patrick's in at the moment, he's very unlikely not to get a start, which is showing the depth that we've got in that jersey right now.
Well, your captain, and then the guy that keeps playing 80 minutes, 4 tests in a row. But that moment right there in Cordoba prompted us to go into the archives and get the most outrageous try-saving tackles.
Now Genia off to Cooper. Intercept. Now here's a chance. This could go all the way for Tommy Bow. They're flying after him. O'Connor's going to run him down by the looks of things. James O'Connor, absolutely outstanding in cover defence.
Kicking again for George Bridge. And Barrett coming up the middle of the park. Beautifully done. Cheslin Colby. Oh, that's remarkable from Colby. What a tackle. An absolute try saver. Cheslin Colby. All black.
And here's an opportunity. Tuipulotu. He's only got a big Smith. Great tackle. Oh, he's got the ball as well.
That'll get the headlines tomorrow, win, lose or draw, because he's a local boy playing under so much pressure.
Now this is a nicely weighted kick going early after it was Dunshee. And here's a sweep straight ahead. Now he's got support if he needs it. And he gets support from Finau, sliding, can't get it down. Referee goes on the deck as well.
That is number 8 play at its very, very best.
Now they go to Morna. Sends it wide. Here it is. No, no. Oh, what defence. What amazing defence from the Blues. And at long last, the drought is over. The Blues have come to Christchurch and they have won.
Tell you what, there were some big try-saving moments in there. But Marsha, you thought you might have made the cut.
Well, this is genuinely a stitch-up sometimes, this show, and I thought when I saw that...
We never do that to you. Come
the
on.
one...
What?
all the time.
Stuff on the show.
Exactly, and putting people on the spot about who's faster and who's not. But yeah, I remember calling the game, and people remember against South Africa, and I think it was Brian Habana got a breakout when the All Blacks were on attack. He ran 80 metres at Ellis Park, and he was halfway there, and I said, they won't get him. In the middle of the commentary. Next minute, Bowden Barrett ran 80 metres and got him in the corner.
Unbelievable.
It was egg on my face type material. It's happened plenty of times before, but anyway.
OK, here's another question coming through. It seems like the All Blacks have yet to find their 13. Who starts at 13 next week with the intention to play the box afterwards? This question has come up time and time again across the last 10 minutes. So who is it? Who is our 13 to play the box? Because they need to play next week, don't
I've
they?
put down Proctor, no, and that's no, don't change him out. You know, I think they need stability there. He needs another start. They need to try and flourish this relationship that they have, or the combination that they have in the midfield with him and also Barrett. And the changes I would look at is possibly bringing Alakai in there, Alakai back to sort of see where if he's a number 8 and move Artie a little bit. I think it gives Razor a bit of an opportunity to have a couple of changes. So moving him into 8. Leroy Carter, I think there's an opportunity to give him a go. Why not?
For who?
I'd put him out there for possibly a Rico. We know what Rico can do. We know what he's done. He's played there. Give someone like a Leroy Carter a start and see how he goes. And I think by winning today, okay, a lot of people will say it was clunky. I think it's a good opportunity to make a couple of subtle changes, subtle by those guys that I've just...
So you're putting Lakai in and you're pulling Rico and putting Leroy Carter in. But back to the question about 13. Who's your 13 against the box? Do you put Rico back in there? Is Anton Leonard-Brown the guy, or is Billy Proctor going to stay?
The way that we're playing, it's really hard to shine in the 13 jersey. The fact of getting very few opportunities with ball in hand to actually carry and create. He's not one of those players they are using to do that. He's doing a lot of work off the ball, a lot of work in the contact areas, cleaning out rucks, having to defend a lot closer. The fact that I think it's easy to highlight some of the errors that he is making, but he didn't make many errors today. He got a yellow card, which was, I think, a little bit unfortunate, or he put himself under pressure. So for me, I'm with you. I think he stays. I think you're investing in him. The easy option to do is just to go back to Rico. If you feel after another test that you're concerned, really concerned, okay, we can go to something that we trust. And Rico's speed is something you can trust, the fact that he can get you out of trouble with his speed defensively.
Yeah, I can't agree. I feel that Rico's playing like a centre on the wing.
Yep.
I haven't
agree
seen
with
him
that.
have a go at an outside break. Haven't seen him enough on counter-attack holding its width. He's still gravitating in and he's running out to in lines as a winger. And what we need is him holding his space and taking on guys on the outside. He is still arguably the quickest guy in the team, but he's not utilising that speed because he's now narrowed the way that he plays because he's used to getting closer to the rucks. And I just feel it's not helping our attack. I would like to see him go back to centre and an opportunity for a Tavatava Naiwai or a Leroy Carter, have a go on the wing, see what our shape looks like there. Different types of carriers when they come in off their wing.
Amoni Narawa? Does he come in that
possibly,
conversation with you?
And let's just see what that makeup looks like. I think you know what you're getting out of Billy Proctor now. I agree with what you're saying. It's going to take time for him to formulate a combination, but let's see again what it looks like when Rico's got different wingers he's dealing with, like someone with real genuine power or someone with out-and-out speed, like a Leroy Carter or, yeah.
Anyway, it's a tough one.
A lot of people calling for Leroy Carter to get a crack as well.
But we like things that are new and shiny in this country, though. Something we haven't seen before, and he is that. And you can't argue with his form. But there are other players, like a Narawa, who have been good, who have played and play well on the wing. Is there an element of risk with that? I'm not too sure there is if you play a Carter. I'm pretty confident he'd go out there and handle the step up.
Nor a Tavatava Naiwai, because anything happens in the back line, he can play 12 out.
Yes.
And apparently so can Leroy Carter, so including halfback. So, that then enables us to go 8-2 split.
6-2 split.
6-2 split.
Which is what you want, Marshy.
Sometimes you need 10 forwards. Anyway, we'd have played South Africa to counter the bomb squad. But, hey, that's just my thought process. Look, I know we had this situation developing over 2 years where we're like, who's the centre? Rico's got to move to the wing. And I was part of that. But I just don't know if we've found the answer just yet with Billy Proctor. So what does it look like when he's got different players around him, Rico? Because he's playing like a centre on the wing. That's all I'm saying.
The only part worry I got with that, and similar thoughts, is the fact that I don't think we've got enough time. I don't think putting Rico back in there, and I think you go ahead with Billy. You give him this, and then they have a little bit of break before the South Africa. The last thing we want to be doing, in my mind, is coming after an Argentinian test and still undecisive about who that is, who that sort of centre pairing is. I think you've got to go in there and say, well, let's get some stability in there. And he's showing glimpses of what he can actually do. It just needs a bit more time.
So are we starting Tamaiti Williams, we're starting Wallace Satiti, these guys who are now and should be fit and available for the second test? They're in, right? We're throwing them straight back in and going, we need you to get a hit out before you return to New Zealand to take on the Springboks. Is that what we're all saying? Because that's what I believe we should.
And how, look, Duplessis Karifi put in a shift. He's going to give you what he gives you. I still feel his spot is off the bench when he's energised, when there's fatigue. He didn't get one single turnover. Yep. Not one.
Stayed in the fight, though.
He stayed in the fight.
Stayed in the fight,
yep.
But
the reason I say that is because then you can move Artie back to 7. I think he's just... Our back row looks better. Yeah.
A tip of I, we're all happy with that?
Yeah.
I was pretty happy with it.
Tell you what, things are getting quite predictable on this line. A lot of love for Mills in the last 3 weeks. A lot of love for you, Mills. And it continues today. I'm sick of waiting through the messages saying, I love you, Millsy.
Hey?
The wife and kids need to jump off this. But here is one that's sort of come from left field from Steve. Do you think Caleb Clarke could be developed as a centre?
Oosh. Gee, he's going to throw another headache in there, isn't he? Yeah. I think for Caleb's situation right now, I mean, he's coming back from injury. He was our best winger, best in the air, right? And I think right now, probably not.
It's Lester Whainganuku's the guy that they've identified. They brought him back. Yep. He's the guy I think they don't see him as having enough speed, I would say, to play on the wing, but can cover the wing. I think he'll be the guy long term that they'll be looking at in the 13 jersey.
I think what it is, though, and you know, the people out there agree with us, it's a problematic jersey. It's a jersey that we always had a solution for. You know, like
Conrad Smith.
Conrad Smith. He's in that jersey, and you could rely on him every week.
How many guys did we move though into that jersey to try and find the guy?
Tana Umanga, you know,
like Christian Cullen.
Once we found, yeah, exactly,
to try and find the guy. Leon McDonald went into the 13 jersey to find the guy.
Don't look at me, mate. I was in there too.
Yeah, exactly. But it's on same Mills. We did that. That's why I pointed at it.
And that's why you've got to give them time to flourish, and hence the reason why I'm for the Proctor sort of stuff rather than chopping and changing, because. Okay, there might be a defensive read that he doesn't quite get, and that happened against France. You know, there's probably one today. You've got to find the balance. It's such a hard position to be able to defend, but also organise everything else around him. It's just not effective just staying out there and distributing and setting up your outsides. There's lots that go on, and the combination between him and 12 is absolutely crucial.
He just hasn't made a line break. Can you remember him making a line break?
No,
centres need to make line breaks.
Yeah, but we're not giving him the ball.
Yeah, it's a good point.
He doesn't get the ball with an opportunity to get a line break. He's either running a front ball or he's looking to clean, or they're not giving it to him in space. They're giving it to other players in space. So us to judge him on something he's not given the opportunity to do, I think is totally unfair.
And he's trying hard. Like, if you look at him, he's actually not staying out and giving the width that you're talking about. He's going in. When we make a break, he's actually around the edges trying to pick and go.
Bit of a victim of our game plan?
100%, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think you can judge him on some of the things he's done at Super Rugby, because the Hurricanes use him in a completely different way than the All Blacks are using him.
OK, well, let's take a look at the question we asked you about the way the All Blacks are playing. We asked you, the All Blacks game plan, is it boring? Is it clinical? Is it exciting? Well, exciting's out the window. Clinical and boring. Boring is just ahead. This is your show, remember, so you can submit your questions just by scanning that QR code. But here's one before we go to a break. Sarah says, as a Kiwi, I was more excited about the Aussies beating South Africa. How good. I feel proud of James O'Connor and Joe Schmidt. Marshy became a Wallaby this morning. We'll get these guys to answer that question right after the break.
It's a spectacular start. A great Esterhazy, a spectacular move. That is just relentless from Siakolisi Springboks.
I tell you what, the intensity of the box are absolutely world class at the moment.
Call an ambulance! Call an ambulance! But not for me.
Back for Nuba. And his pass intercepted. Suarezini. And no one will stop it. The Wallabies have their third. And they're back on the counter to Tom Wright. Wilson away to his right. Harry Wilson. They won't chase him down. Lost ball and intercepted. And Pistone will not catch him. And that will be that.
Shocked. Absolutely shocked here at Ellis Park. Australian rugby's back. This is a statement win here for the Wallabies.
What about that shocked, stunned? You saw the faces of Rassie Erasmus, the fans at Ellis Park, to come back and score 33 unanswered points at the home of Springbok Rugby, Ellis Park, Jeff. Has that performance from the Wallabies sunk in yet? Because that has shocked the rugby world.
Oh, massive congratulations to Joe Schmidt and his team and what they've done. Now, he tried to deflect after the game, saying it was all about the players, but they've made progress in the last 12 months. That's what they've done. and all of a sudden you get the sense that they're settled on their side that's best and fit and available. And yes, James O'Connor was a part of that through injury, but he was brave in some of his selections as well. And in the end, the Springboks fell off a cliff in the second half.
Yeah.
And they had opportunities early in the second half, the Springboks, to put this game away. They failed. And then this team that won the third test against the Lions got the job done. It was impressive.
You said the Boks fell off a cliff. Well, let's hear from the Boks coach, Rusty Erasmus, how he described that performance.
Yeah, I must be honest, that's probably one of the most embarrassing press conferences I've done in a while. And not because we were awful, but they were really good. Overall, they were just better than us on the day in most departments. We didn't scrum them. They beat us in the line-outs. They bullied us at the breakdown. They beat us in most departments. We as coaches got it terribly wrong. And we have to look first at ourselves before we point fingers at the players. I don't think they tactically just as smart as us. I think they also physically dominated us. We didn't even fight back to take the bonus point away. We did just really dog shit on the day.
That's the first time I've heard that on television, dog shit, Marshy.
Yeah.
Rusty didn't mince his words.
No, but that's probably quite light to what he would have said in the changing room, lads? So, yeah, look, I think he's right in his summary. It was complimentary of Australia. It was responsibility of the coaching group. He said, but he did say tactically we didn't really get it wrong. Basically, he was saying they just looked more hungry than us. Now, they were hungry in the first 20 minutes, the Springboks, to go up 22 points, but then Australia had everything to gain by just gritting their teeth and going, you know what, we're not letting this go, we'll get in the fight. And South Africa couldn't respond.
80 minutes from James O'Connor. Let's hear from him.
Super proud. Everything I asked from the guys, they just kept turning up. Even when we were squeezing the screws, they kept squeezing the screws, and our big boys, they kept turning up and playing. So, yeah, very proud, and what a game. That belief is strong in us now. You know, we've been building. Like you could see in that Lions series, we're building belief. So, yeah, doubling down, and there you go. That's the result. So super proud, and yeah, stoked. Look, yeah, it meant so much. There's been a lot of emotion this week, a lot of reflection. You know, I thought my time in the gold jersey was done 3 years ago. I fought bloody hard to get back here, and you know, the opportunity came with some of the guys getting injured, but you know, I'm here now and loving it. Yeah, for me now, that's personally definitely my favourite win.
It is amazing. This is the most incredible redemption story. He debuted for the Wallabies in 2008 as an 18-year-old. He is now 35. He's been in the international wilderness multiple times, Marshy, over his career. That is the first time the Wallabies have won in South Africa since 2011, when James O'Connor was last playing for the Wallabies over there. You can see what it means to the guy, who has only got an opportunity due to injuries.
Yes, he has. You know, incredible for him to be able to, you know, turn back the clock and then go out there. Being a test match at Ellis Park, that's why you play rugby, isn't it, lads? To go there and take on the world champions on their home ground, their house. And look, when I watched him work his way through that test match, I watched him figure out exactly how they were going to break down this aggressive blitz defence that the Springboks offered, and he did it really well. He struggled in the first quarter, 30 minutes, and then he started to figure it out, and he adjusted his depth. He engaged the line when he needed to. He recognised when they were turning in, the wingers. He ripped beautiful passes out. One of them set up a try. He set up 2 tries, one to Peach and the second one to Jorgensen. You know, like this was the beautiful little bit of play. He knew, and because of his experience, where they were going to try and shut them down, and he was the architect of finding the space that the Springboks allow you if you can get around that blitz.
I think you've got to realise how significant this one is. This is Ellis Park. I don't think I've ever seen, and you've got to give the context of sort of where it is. They've been spanked by the Springboks, you know, time and time again. To come down and then go 22-0 up less than 20 minutes in there, they didn't panic. They stayed calm. And there was some steel. There was some steel about guys across that Wallabies sort of outfit. And I don't think I've ever seen it. I look back at the second test when they lost against the Lions. I don't think I've seen Wallabies team hurt before, but not the way that they hurt in that game. And this is the benefit from it. You know, they've come out, they've added a bit of steel. The big thing now is, can they produce the goods again? They've got a few injuries next week, but, man, they should savour this moment because this is significant. This is Ellis Park.
You two mentioned it last week, though. You thought the Springboks might be underdone. Their 2 test matches against Italy and the test match against Georgia. Then they went into this test with a number of injuries and some of their selections, and they said they got some of the things wrong. Sia Khaleesi was playing at number 8. He gets injured. They didn't have their traditional 6-2 split. They didn't have their bomb squad to come on. Then they got a couple of injuries, and then they looked gassed in the second half. There's a lot of players walking there. And you're not used to seeing that from a Springbok side. They usually suffocate teams. Well, they were the team, they were chasing shadows by the end of that game. And to me, they'll learn really quickly is the fact that they've got a DNA, but those conditions hurt them. And so it's whether or not, when they come here, and in the second test, they can control the test match like they have in the past. They didn't control that test match at any point. But I will go this. Joe Schmidt can coach. He's had great success on the international level. But for me, I don't underestimate the impact that former All Black coach Mike Cron's had there. Because all of a sudden their forward pack, you talk about Steele, they're not folding at scrum time. Well, they're not that team that's under pressure. We've put the Wallabies, the All Blacks, have put the Wallabies under pressure and won games through that. He's got to get a lot of credit as well. All of a sudden the old dog who's there, behind the scenes, putting work in.
Yeah, breakdown is a big part of that as well. There's no doubt their set piece is considerably better than where it was. But and Rassi mentioned it in his interview, the breakdown work is part of what Chrono does as well. It's very much in his wheelhouse, and you can just see that they're more accurate there. Like it's easy to throw bodies into a situation and it be a mess. But when you're accurate and make good decisions, turnovers, Hooper got a really vital one when the Springboks were going to look to put them away, boom, straight on the ball, a metre from the line. Those sorts of decisions are a lot better. I think it's the education that someone like Chrono's giving them, and Joe Schmidt as well, that's helping these players make better decisions, decisive ones at the right time.
Considering what happened in the Lions series, Wallabies came close to winning the series, won the last test, probably should have won the second test, and have now just beaten South Africa in South Africa. What does this say about Southern Hemisphere rugby? Surely they are all over the North right now. Come on.
She's looking at you, Mills. Straight at you.
Well, you've got to feel positive about it.
The Southern Hemisphere is superior, aren't they?
Well, OK, we like to...
You're fishing for a quote.
I'm just asking.
You are fishing for a headline.
This has come in from Jeff and
question
Auckland.
for those guys. You guys should get in on this. Come on now.
Well, is the
Southern Hemisphere superior from what you've seen so far?
I've been saying that anyway myself. I believe that. I mean, 3 of the 4 semi-finalists at the last Rugby World Cup were from the Southern Hemisphere. I'm going to keep betting on about that because that's part of the great banter of the game. There's no doubt about it. We just beat France 3-0. Not our fault they decided to send a second-string team down to New Zealand. Nothing to do with us. So if we're, 1, 2, and they're making a shift in the world rankings because of this result, bring it on.
It was a question, by the way. More questions and comments here. Mike says, no Gregan on Wilson try-saving tackle. There needs to be an investigation here. We'll leave that one. Bruce, what are the chances?
Say to that?
What are the chances of the Wallabies
I'll bring out what Rassi said. That's absolute... That's what that is.
People want to know, what are the chances of the Wallabies winning the Bledisloe? James is a proud Kiwi and it brings him great joy seeing Australia being good again. So we've asked you the question. Here is the latest poll question. Will the Wallabies win the Bledisloe Cup? What are the chances? Not likely, 24% of you. Yeah, nah, 26%. 41% say possibly. That's significant. 41% saying possibly.
The problem for our Anzac friends is that we're quite smart. So that if they're going to be able to win a Bledisloe Cup, they need to do something that no team in the world has been able to do right now, and that's win at Eden Park. They can jag one away, but because it's only a 2-test Bledisloe now, they've got to win at Eden Park. Now, are they capable of doing that? That's probably the bigger question.
That record may be gone.
If we put it in Wellington, where we haven't had a great strike rate lately, you might enter into the category of possibly, but...
So you're saying it's impossible because they can't win at Eden Park?
Yeah.
I think
impossible.
They'll be closer than they've been for a while if they play with the sort of form we're seeing and if they can stay healthy. And I will say this, Joseph Swa'ali'i, and when you get a Tom Wright doing what he did, if they can create those sorts of threats, then all of a sudden it's a different story.
Surely the Wallabies are going to be even better next week. They're not at altitude. They're at sea level in Cape Town. They're
battered, though.
They've been in South Africa for a couple of weeks, and it's not daunting like Alice Park.
But you imagine what Springbok team's going to show up.
Yeah, and the Wallaby casualty ward is increasing. You know, Wilson, he looked like he's got a knee injury. Peach could very well have a broken jaw. You know, they're obviously already down to Jock. James O'Connor is their only 10, really.
He's good for 80?
He's good for 80. But, yeah, they are... The physicality of those, particularly those last 2 Lions tests and then a big one at Ellis Park. Yeah, so they look, absolutely, they're going to be up. They're going to be full of confidence, but they're going to need to be nursed into that game.
One area that I would say is I think Super Rugby's been a big benefit. You talked about the scrum and also, being a bit more steel around the set piece. When it sort of got loose, they were a lot better team than what the Springboks is. Yeah. The key now for the following test in Cape Town is, can they stick with them and sort of nullify their set piece? This is the Springboks, right? But if it opens up, the Wallabies look a lot more dangerous than what the Springboks have been.
Marsha, I've been peppering you with questions, so I'll send a highball Jeff's way.
Yes.
Chris from New Plymouth says, do the panel also feel like the Boks fitness isn't up to where it needs to be? They look like they'd ran out of gas when Australia didn't.
But everyone runs out of gas at Johannesburg, at altitude. At some point, it hits you hard and you get into a game which is, I suppose, the ball's in play a little bit, and there was a lot of turnovers in the game. And it was just a case where I think the Australian team just handled it better. And they'd come on the back of a 3-test series against the Lions. And they played that game at high speed. And also, they were out of Super Rugby a little bit earlier in terms of the playoffs. And all of a sudden, all those guys got some serious work in and prepared. There's a way they want to play. And if they're allowed to play like that, they're very dangerous, Australia. So, yes, I do think the Springboks looked underdone, but that's as well as the fact Australia looked well-conditioned.
Remember that question from earlier in the first part? Who would win across 100 metres, Mills, Jeff or Will Jordan at their peak? Matthew says Mills should run Catch the Colonel next Super Rugby season. I'd pay to see it. I'd pay to see you put the boots on.
$500 worth of KFC isn't enough for me to...
Oh, come on, you'd take it.
There is no way, not for that.
You would take it and you would try and catch the Colonel. Hey, look, the Black Ferns are on the hunt for their 7th Women's Rugby World Cup in England. That all starts in 6 days' time right here on Sky.
While Aotearoa sleeps, across the globe, our wahine rise. Not just to play, to conquer. Through the dark, our fire burns bright.
New Zealand, it is sumptuous!
She just slices through.
She is pumped! And in your life, have you ever seen anything like it?
And back home, we wake up to greatness.
Women's Rugby World Cup 2025.
Women's Rugby World Cup kicks off 23rd of August, live on Sky Sport.
It is going to be enormous. England are basically unbeaten since the last Rugby World Cup final against the Black Ferns. That was right here in New Zealand in 2022. The Black Ferns out to defend their title. Let's take a look at how they can get to the quarterfinals. They've got 3 pool matches. The first one up against Spain, and that is on Monday morning. So in just over a week's time, 3:30 in the morning from York. Then we play Japan at Exeter and Ireland there at Brighton Hove Albion. This World Cup campaign for the Black Ferns is going to be enormous. New players in, Georgia Millers of the world unearthing themselves. But how tricky is it for some of these players in this environment for the first time? A World Cup, playing in full stadiums and playing against teams that you should win and you should really win well.
That's the upside of playing some of the smaller teams, or the ones that you should win well, is that you're not going to get stretched, so you can, I suppose, grow into the tournament. But they need to grow quickly and get confidence and find the right combinations. And for me, they weren't quite there when they left these shores. I think they had an idea of who their best team is. They had a number of players, though, who were injured. So I think ultimately they need to find who those players are and quickly. And I think they'll get comfortable. I think there's a number of players who understand the big stage, who have been there before. They know what's in front of them.
Yeah, but they've got a bit of time, right? But also, that can also be an Achilles heel, because a Rugby World Cup, you're in there the first 3 weeks trying to find the right team, the right combinations. You've got to time your excitement levels, right, right through to the quarterfinals. And I think they might meet Canada, who they've had a bit of sort of trouble with. And once you get to those knockout rounds, it really does become, one game after another. You can't sort of, get to peak too early in those first sort of couple of games. It's a long tournament.
Yeah, it is. It's basically what I was going to say. You get to quarter-final and you've played against teams that physically probably won't challenge you, like France will challenge them, like England will challenge them when they've got to take them on. So you're slightly off and perhaps where you need to be, because you've been able to break tackles. You've been able to dominate around the breakdown area, whereas you'll get more resistance against those other teams. So you've mentally got to get in the right headspace. OK, we've been tracking along good, but it's really going to go up 50, 60% when we hit quarterfinal, knockout, semi-final type rugby. So that's just about smart coaching. They've got plenty of experience. Yeah. Yes. Experienced players knowing that it's not going to come anywhere near as easy as those games that they've got in the pool.
And I think there'll be, if there's one area is their experience at 10, because they've only got 2 10s with Kelly and Ruahei as well. It's how they sort of mix those two up in the lead-up games to then really start establishing those sort of drivers. And obviously, Ruahei as the captain should be there, but it's the balance between the first 3 games and then going into the quarterfinals of how they use him, because there's only 2.
I'm looking forward to it. Every single match of the Women's Rugby World Cup will be live and exclusive here on Sky Sport, and every Thursday during the Cup there will be a preview show as well. There's a message in here, and I would like to check the email address from George Gregan. Why was my tackle on Goldie not included in your montage? I don't know. I'm not the boss around here, but we will be back with more of your questions after this.
Bay of Plenty, back at home. They are absolutely loved by everyone here.
Yes, us. No, from the side, bro! No, from the side! Over!
Marching ahead, Kurt Eklund looking for the opening try.
Yeah! Good day, boys! Keep running at me, bro. What the hell? Someone else want to make a tackle. We need to get to the breakdown earlier. We're giving them ins. That's on us. Honestly, bro. Everyone keeps running at me. I think I drank too much. I'm gonna be sick. Give me something easy. Cooked. Good game, dog. It's good to see you, bro. You too. Stay with us. We'll get back on there. And thanks to everyone who showed up today. Appreciate you.
Oh, that was a direct message to the fans because he knew he was mic'd up. Kurt Eklund, thank you so much for allowing us to do that, and to Bay of Plenty as well. To those guys that kept running at him, I don't know if he's the smartest choice of person to run at, Marshy.
No, he's probably not. But you know, when you've got good players, and he is obviously very, very good, and a good captain, a good leader, tire them out, make them tackle. Smart. Very
I still
smart.
feel like after that loss, Bay of Plenty will still be there at the business end of the season. What did you say this morning about South Africa? One loss doesn't make them a bad team. They've just won back-to-back World Cups.
That's exactly what I said, Kirsty. You just keep believing and keep convincing yourself.
They will be back. They will be back.
I love what Kurt said also, didn't he? Someone else do some tackling.
Yeah.
It's when you're not going to make 3 or 4 in a sequence, you're like, is someone else tackling out here? Am I the only one?
Do you think
so good.
Everyone in Auckland was saying that as well? Someone else make another tackle. Taranaki putting Auckland to the sword. 50 points in an NPC match against Auckland. Jeff.
I think we have to put a little bit of context in this. Taranaki had a night. I mean, they had a night where everything, Logan Crowley was playing his 50th game and everything he touched was outstanding. And this is in terrible conditions. There was dummies. What's this tap on here? I'm going to batter that on to the guy on the outside, tap it onto him. It had been raining non-stop for 2 or 3 hours, and they just, everything they did, scooped it up, kicked it forward. Josh Jacob was awesome. Look, I think we need to put Auckland in a bit of context. They had a number of injuries during the week, but also they're quite young in key positions, and it showed. In a night where they needed leadership, they just didn't have the experience and time on the field to take control of this game. But Taranaki are very, very good.
I guess expectations for Auckland are so high, just like expectations for the All Blacks, because of historical results, aren't they?
Yeah, I know, and I'm not Auckland bashing by any means, just a little bit. But but wouldn't you argue that North Harbour are equally as inexperienced? But you know, they put up a lot more resistance at home than what Auckland did. You know, and I think. I agree with you, but at some stage there's got to be a toughness and an accountability to go, you know what, we are a very proud, historic, you know, NPC side here with massive history, and you don't roll over.
Yeah, but the first 2 games of the season, they're right there. And they fought really hard against Canterbury the week before.
Yep.
And they were very unlucky not to beat Waikato in the first round game. So they could quite easily have won 2 games of their first 3. That I don't think is indicative of their squad. I just think key guys in key positions. Anton Segner, who's been their best on show for the first 2 weeks, and their captain, ruled out. Significant at this level. You compare their squad, the one that played on Saturday night, in terms of Super Rugby experience, to a number of teams that played on the weekend, they don't even compare. So they've got some growing pains in terms of their depth.
Taranaki obviously stacked with quality Super Rugby players. Luke has sent this question through about 10 times. We're seeing you, Luke, and we're answering your question right now. It is a great question, by the way. How far away do you think Josh Jacob is from the All Blacks frame after his performance on Saturday? How many tries did he score?
3.
He's good. Yeah, I've really enjoyed his last couple of Super Rugby appearances. But he's been playing off the back end of coming on for a Damian McKenzie. Got a bit of time early in this. He's got a big future.
How far away from the All Blacks, and what does Richie Mo'unga's return mean for him? Well, that is Luke's question.
He's probably 4th or 5th if you're talking about Richie Mo'unga, don't you? I mean, so how far away? I don't know.
It's where he is on the curve, isn't it, Marshy? About on his growth curve. I would expect a player with his talent to actually play well at NPC. I would expect that, given his experience at Super Rugby, right? So he's the sort of player for me who's got the talent level. When he comes back down, I expect this most weeks, right?
Yep.
And in terms of this conversation, he was good at Super Rugby in a very good team.
Yeah.
And so he's still got things to learn, but I think he's part of a wider
to answer your
conversation.
question, would I put him in there instead of the 3 guys that we've got there? Probably not.
No, but it's an easy conversation to have, right?
Yeah.
So let's just keep an eye on him. Let's just keep what's happened.
Pecking order wise, you would think that Ruben Love's ahead of him.
Yes.
And I think what Ruben Love showed, particularly to be in the conversation and for Scott Robertson to pivot and say, all of a sudden, no, I do see him being able to play 10 when he didn't the year before, saw him as a fullback solely, was he got game time through injuries in that 10 jersey with the Hurricanes, and he grew. To be fair, when the Hurricanes shifted him back to 15, they weren't as effective. They kind of, their attack sort of fell away a little bit, I felt, because they looked good under his guidance. Jacob's the same. Like, these guys just need... NPC, you're right. They're going to score 3 tries every now and then, or 1 or 2. But they need consistent time at Super Rugby level, tough games, week in, week out, to grow.
Could be better movement around Super Rugby. That's the choices that they kind of have. And moving around to get more game time in a Super Rugby outfit, meaning starting every week. And then when you're sitting behind Damian McKenzie, those are the sort of discussions they have come contract time.
Yeah.
So many more questions coming in. Dean says, I love these. The All Blacks are winning, yet we're still, as fans, not happy, and that is so healthy. It is because we care. Hard work pays off, Razor. Do not be scared. Another message saying, surely Preston gets named on the bench next week, from Josh. What do you think about that, Marshy? Would you play him?
Yeah, because I'm still concerned, and as Jeff alluded to as well, and we've had a conversation post-Test match about it, brought it up pre-Test match about the kicking strategy. I'd like to see what Preston offers us. So if he's going to come off the bench, give him some good time. Like, they took Cortez off weirdly quite early in that Test match to bring Finlay Christie, which we know a lot about, into it for some reason. Don't know what that is, but I would be confident to say give Cortez 40 minutes and give Preston a good 40 to see what our kicking strategy looks like with a left-right foot DuPont type kicker. Best kicker probably in New Zealand at the moment, and see if it changes the way that we look in that regard.
I suspect they were looking after Cortez, because I think he's going to have a heavy workload. That to me is they're looking after him and going, you know what, he's clearly our number 1 right now.
Yeah.
We probably don't want to risk him too much longer, for me, Mills. That's how I saw this, and I'd like to see Preston just see what he offers.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was really consistent. I think there's a skill set I really trust.
Thank you, Matthew. He said he's with me. Bay Plenty are the best. Someone else also said, as Stephen Donald would say, it's a 1.5 horse race. Bay Plenty and Canterbury, Marshy. I think Canterbury are the half horse.
Yeah, they? Really? Well, like, it didn't look like that at the weekend when it came to Bay of Plenty, did it? Look, there's no doubt about the fact that I think Canterbury and Bay of Plenty will be there around business time. You know, the teams that are starting to flex their muscles a little bit now are the teams that have got good squad depth. And, you know, those teams are, you know, they are in the mix for a reason. You know, let's not discount Hawke's Bay, Shield holders. They had to get through a tough challenge against North Harbour. But, Yeah, I've been impressed with Canterbury. How good a try was that from Corey Callow?
That was good.
That's Artie Savia. Outstanding.
Don't rule out Otago, that's all I'll say.
No, they look good.
If they stay healthy, if they can keep their number one team, don't rule them out.
Great question that came through in here. What does success this season look like for the All Blacks, given we are 4 tests through out of a 13 calendar season?
Payback.
Payback against who?
Back to back against the Springboks, and that will surge us with confidence to go into the Bledisloe Cup, retain that, and then take on that very difficult end-of-year tour, you know, Chicago, Ireland.
And you said to me before this show, you're worried about Scotland.
I'm worried about Scotland, man.
Scotland, and they have never beaten the All Blacks.
Never beaten the All Blacks, and they will put out a Lions back line, you know, like they will put out Finn Russell, Tui Pelotu, Hugh Jones, Kinghorn, Fundermover.
Someone's looking deep. You've gone deep.
I have. I'm worried
about next weekend. You're worried about the end-of-year tour.
Success for the All Blacks?
I think 11 wins this year. What did you say, 13 tests?
4 banked already.
Yeah, I think they've got an ability to maybe 2 they might lose, but I think success is 11 wins.
I'll be interested to see who those two are then, because that would be, but for me, pretty similar, but I think it's the confidence in the way that they're playing. And at the moment, we're playing winning rugby. And that's 100%. The most thing that matters. It's the All Black jersey.
Thank you for creating our show with all of your comments, with your votes on our poll. We love it. We're going to do it again next week after the All Blacks take on the Pumas in Buenos Aires.
Bye, George. Bye, George.
George wastes absolutely no time and tries to catch the napping. Here he goes with his electric boots. Manson! Oh, that is stunning! Brilliant!
You can hear the bodies clattering. Gets through a gap. Corey Callow with the chip ahead. Can he regain it? Yes, he can! What a try!
This pass. Here's David Havili. Cut out ball. Naka Springer finds Oda Ryan. And he'll go in for the first try.
Jacob calmly stabs a kick through. Ratu Maitabuki Lincoln's after him. Walters Hansen. And for the try.
This is Greg. Yeah, looking for some word. Then here is that man, Andrew Tawatavalo puts a little kick through. He chases himself, looking for the bounce. It might be there for Greg.